Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of classical archives, I am Vaughan Williams, born in 1872 in the quiet village of Down Ampney, Gloucestershire, into a family where music, learning and public service were part of the household air. My father was the local vicar, and through my mother, of the Wedgwood and Darwin families, I inherited a deep regard for inquiry, culture and the life of the mind. It was an upbringing that surrounded me with books, ideas and hymn tunes long before I ever understood how profoundly they would shape my music. I grew up in an England that was changing rapidly, yet I found myself irresistibly drawn to the older, quieter music that lived in parish churches, village greens, and the memories of ordinary people. Collecting folk songs in my early years was not a nostalgic pursuit for me. It was a discovery that these melodies held the very character of our nation. They became part of the musical language through which I would later speak. My formal studies brought me into contact with extraordinary musicians. At the Royal College of Music, I worked closely with Sir Charles Villiers Stanford, who instilled in me a discipline I sorely needed. Later, my time with Max Bruch in Berlin, and even more significantly with Maurice Ravel in Paris, broadened my world. Ravel's refinement, clarity and elegance were revelations. He helped me polish my craft without asking me to change my voice. Encounters and friendships with composers such as Gustav Holst were equally vital. Holst, in particular, was a companion in exploration, challenge, and mutual encouragement. My works have ranged widely: symphonies, concertos, choral pieces, operas, film scores, and the occasional hymn tune. Sine Nomine, known to some as For All the Saints, has travelled farther than I ever expected. Each piece was my attempt to express something honest: the peace of a summer field, the quietude of evening, the spiritual weight of a community at prayer, or the tumult of a century that saw two devastating wars. My Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis was born from a desire to converse across time with one of England's great musical ancestors. The symphonies followed different paths: pastoral, tempestuous, enigmatic, because I believed each new work must answer a new question. And The Lark Ascending grew from a wish to capture a moment of beauty that seems always on the edge of vanishing. I lived long enough to hear my country rebuild itself, to see younger generations forging their own musical identities, and to teach many of them along the way. Those pupils, colleagues and friends gave me great hope for the future of music in Britain. I passed away in London in 1958, the city that had been my home in both quiet and tumultuous times. But I carried with me throughout my life the sounds of the countryside, the voices of ordinary singers, and the conviction that music could hold together the threads of a people's history and the stirrings of their imagination. Thank you for allowing me this moment to reflect.